Hello and good morning. It is Heather here, and I am super excited to be here today because we have so many cool things that are going on. As you probably have recognized, I took the entire month of April off. I took a break in March from some things, took the entire month of April off of everything, and sort of did, we moved. We are now in a different location, as you can kind of tell behind me. And you might even hear some banging going on above me because our neighbor is getting ready to go to school. So it's about that time. We did some moving. We moved Mom to the assisted living place, and we moved out of our house, and then my oldest son's family into our house. So it has been crazy, to say the least. And it all kind of started in February because things started to unravel for, aging parents are tough. If you've had to take care of an aging parent, you understand. And we've had to do a lot of that in the last year. So it's been a little crazy, but she's doing really well, and the rest of us are feeling better about her doing well because we know that she can be safe at night. And it's a great place. We're thinking we want to move into there. I mean, she gets 3 meals a day, and they come and check on you, and all the activities are involved. Anyway, it's a lot of fun to go over and visit her. But so that leads me to where we are now. So it's the end of April, which means we had some colors. Okay, so we had the 3-color challenge still went on because Lorraine had contacted me. Thank you, Lorraine. I appreciate that somebody was missing something I was doing, and I know many of you did, so I didn't mean that negatively. Many of you did miss that we were off. I get that. But she actually reached out to me and said, I know you're not doing things this month, but are you going to do the colors? And so I did. And so these are April's colors, and you still have a few days to participate. Tomorrow, I will be doing a roundup of everything that I've seen this month on a blog post, and I might be doing something a little bit different. You want to stay tuned to the Kraaft Shaak YouTube channel to see if I get it done. But anybody that plays along until the new colors are announced, which won't be till next Friday, will be listed as well next week. So you are welcome to still play along even into May because the new colors don't get announced until the first Friday of the month. So they're not really, it's more like a 30-day challenge and less of a month-to-month challenge. So I wouldn't say that these are April's colors, but these are definitely the colors that mostly are in the month of April. Anyway, you follow this hashtag that my fingers are covering. That hashtag, that's not how it goes. Follow this hashtag and you will see everything that everybody is working on. And there's been some really cool, Lorraine did some cool acrylic pours with this, on rocks even. Very cool stuff. Anyway, I made a piece just because I needed to get back into the studio. This place was so, I'm trying to think of what the word is, but is like sterile. There's no other real word for it. It was sterile. It was a blank canvas with no inspiration on it anywhere. And so because of that, it was actually kind of scary to get started in here. And the way that the supplies are set up at the moment, it's really difficult to actually get into the stuff. So it looks really pretty in the boxes, and it's all stacked up there nice and neat, but I can't really access it because this table is in the way. We are working on, before Craft It Live on Tuesday, I hope to have this all set up the opposite of what you see here. So this wall behind me and all of its art is going to be down, and I'm going to be moving this table over to there and putting all of that art on the wall behind you. and it'll be the same look probably from where you're sitting, but I've been struggling with the lighting. It's not working very well, and I'm hoping to utilize, you see this window over here to my left? I'm hoping to utilize some of that lighting because when I first wanted to set up in here, I actually wanted the table all the way up against this window, but it didn't really work. The size of the table is huge, and the window, it was really far away from the window too, so I wasn't really able to work it. But I think I figured out if I do it this way that the table is now, and flip it around and put the workstation at that corner. Are you following me? Have I lost you yet? No, over here in this corner, the natural light source will come in. We'll also have some lamps on as well. But anyway, that's the plan. We're going to be working on that today. So I wanted to get a vlog done before we tore all this down. I do promise once I get it set up that we will be working on doing a tour so you can see what art supplies I did keep and how I store them and how I've made it easy to access for storage and usability. That's what I want to show you. But that video is going to be a little bit coming because I've got to, it's going to take some time to actually make that video because I've got to have a few projects done first because the projects are part of the room. That's why. Okay, so back to the 3-color challenge. I actually did decide to break in the studio here by actually creating some wooden crosses. I didn't create the wooden crosses. I painted them. So I have one here. Hold on. So I took these wooden blanks. You probably have seen these at different craft stores and whatnot. And they're really inexpensive, actually, and they come in all different types of styles. And I painted a couple of them with like crackle paint and gesso and did some different things with that. And I hung them in my living room wall. I have an entire wall I'm building of crosses. And I've been collecting crosses like these, handmade ones, all kinds of stuff for years, but I've never had them all in one location. And when we moved here, I was packing things up and I went, I'm going to do that whole big wall with the crosses. And I thought it was a great idea. Turns out I'm not the only one who thinks that. Apparently everyone in the world does crosses on their wall, but that's fine. I don't care. Anyway, so I made this piece. This is the piece that I made with the 3-color challenge. And I used all 3 colors, and as you may or may not know, but white and black do not count. So you can use white and black in your project, and they won't count against the 3 colors. It's not like there's a hard, fast rule about this either. You can mix the colors up. I don't really care. All I'm saying is get inspired. Hopefully the colors do that for you, and they make you want to grab them and do something with them. You don't even have to use the same paints I use. I like to use Deco Art, Americana craft paints, and the metal. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. The copper shine. Can you see that? Oh, here, this side. Look at that copper shimmer. Those are dazzling metallics, also by Deco Art, and I love them. So I have a huge bin of them. So that's why I chose them as the colors, because Americana is pretty awesome. I like their paint. Anyway, it's a one-coat wonder. I'm learning that I don't really want to have much of anything else. I do like the media line because they've got some really cool transparent colors and they're more fluid. So it's almost like having a fluid acrylic paint in some of them. Anyway, so that leads me to something else. I have been wanting for a very long time acrylic inks, and the ones that I've been wanting were like F&W, I think is the name of the brand. And I always, every time I go to the art store with Sylvia, I stand there and I drool and I think for like 35, 45 minutes. And she's like, come on, Heather, there's more to look at. And I'm like, but I'm trying to figure out how I can take these home. Because, you know, I'm on a plane, they're glass bottles, they're liquid. These are all things that the airport doesn't like. So I'm always worried about how I'm going to get them home, and I ultimately put them back on the shelf and never buy them. Well, recently, Mr. Corbett took me over to Bozeman for I don't remember why we went there, but we did some shopping. Oh, I know, because we needed a new bedding set for our new room. And we did some shopping and stuff. And when I was over there, I, begged and pleaded, can we please go to Michael's? Because I don't have a Michael's anywhere near here, so I have to go to that one. And only wanted to go to see, do they have acrylic inks? That's what I wanted to see. And they do carry Liquitex acrylic ink, but they carry them in these sets. And it seems like every time I've gone there, they're always out. Like apparently, this is an incredibly popular item that they cannot keep in stock, but yet they never restock it. That's the way I see it. Anyway, but they never have any of the sets, and they don't have any individual ones, although I did see a rack this time that had individual spots. No bottles in them yet. But anyway, so maybe they're coming. I don't know. Anyway, so I thought, okay, I had a coupon. They, of course, they bribe you to come into their store with the coupons, right? So I had the coupon sent to me in my email, and I didn't have just one, I had two. I had a 50% off any one item, and you can use in conjunction with 20% off your entire order, including sale items. Yeah, so they suckered me in there. So I got these, I don't remember what else I got that day, but a couple of other items that I was in need of, things I was out of. And in doing that, I think I spent like not even $20. It was right around 20, just under, just over, something like that. This set of these guys right here was $18 retail price. So I'm pretty sure I got a good deal. Anyway, so of course then I had to use them. I came home and they sat on the workstation here for about 2 weeks before I even opened the box. Why? Because I don't know how to use them. Have I not made that clear yet? Okay, so I let intimidation fly and decided to go ahead and pull them out. Now, this is kind of cool, I think. Didn't I have another piece? I guess not. All right, so I think this turned out pretty cool. So I've been, I'm going all over the place because I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in forever, and I have so many things to say. But anyway, it's all art related. Is that good? I'll gather my thoughts with a sip. Okay, so I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos trying to get my mojo back because there's been like a lot of burnout. My focus has not been artistically aimed, so even having ideas for like Craft It Live, I haven't had any. So one of the things that I do whenever I get to that stage is I look at my favorite YouTube artists, and then I try to find similar YouTube artists that I haven't found yet, and then I'll rewatch some videos that inspired me in the past. So a lot of Cece's videos that she did over the last several years, I mean, I can't even pinpoint one, but there's several things that she's done in the past that I've been like, okay, now I have to go get into the studio right now, you know. And then this past year, I found some new people. So Tony Burt is another artist that I absolutely adore her style. It's not my style, and it's not something that that I think that I can do well, but it's definitely something that I'm drawn to. Like when I look at her stuff, it just makes me feel good inside. And another artist like that is Tandy Art. Tandy Art. And I'll try to remember to put their links down in the bottom of this video so that way you can go to who I'm talking about. But their art really has been one of those things where I watch them do it and I'm like, man, this makes me just want to get my hands dirty. And it doesn't necessarily mean I need to do what they're doing. It just makes me want to get my hands dirty. But then when I get into the room, see, this is where the problem is. Then when I come into the room, I'm like all jazzed up. I want to get my hands dirty. I want to push paint around. I want to scribble with pencils. And then I come in here and I'm like, now what was it that I wanted to do? Have you ever had that problem? Like, have you ever been staring in the face of all that you own as far as creativity, you know, crafty stuff goes, and been like, what am I going to do with this? Like, it isn't always that it's too much, because for a lot of us, we'd only have a few things. That's how I started, and I still had this problem. So I know that it's not because I have too much, and I know that it's not because I don't have the right stuff, because we all know I have all the stuff. It really feels more like I'm stifled by the daunting task of making an idea occur. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to take a class. I ended up taking 3. I'm going to take a class, and I'm going to try and copy some stuff. It's not what I normally do, but only because I've been doing this for so long that copying other people's work seems passé. Like, why should I do that when I've got my own ideas? But when you run out of ideas, what else are you supposed to do? So I copied, and by copy, I mean I just took what she does, whoever it is, she, and applied the exact same principles. It may be a totally different look in the end. It may not be at all the same theme or color scheme or any of that kind of stuff. That's not what I mean by copy. But I took some of her basic things that I saw her doing in a lot of her videos, and I applied it to my own stuff. Now, this I did during Craft It Together with the patrons, so it was a little bit easier because I had friends around, but it was still the same concept. I have no idea what I'm going to do. And so I copied Tandy art. I was totally inspired by her little kid-like images. She very much reminds me of my granddaughter. Her art reminds me of my granddaughter's art. My granddaughter is very, very good at depicting individuals, and she draws heads and bodies and features that make you know when you look at it, oh, that's your daddy, oh, that's you, you know, stuff like that. And it just reminded me so much of what she does that I really just wanted to play along too. So this is what I made. You may have seen some of these things on Instagram, by the way. But this is what I made, and it's Tandy art inspired. I just love the playfulness of it. I love, you know, I utilize some of the colors from the monthly challenge because there were some leftover papers from that previous project, and that's what I put down. And I saw the purple up in the sky, and it made me think of cloudy day, and I put the clouds on, and then I dripped this acrylic ink from the clouds, so it kind of resembled like rain. And I think it's funny because she's holding balloons in the rainy day, so it's almost like defiant. And so she had to have red hair because, oh, fiery red hair. They're defiant, you know it. I'm thinking of one person in particular, but she'll know too when she hears this. And so will you if you know her. Anyway, okay, so I just loved doing this. I loved the whimsicalness of it. I'm just making sure it's in the right light for you. And this side is actually a cutout. I just fussy cut that cat holding the balloon because she's holding balloons, cat's holding balloons. Just made sense. Anyway, that was from a storybook, a kid's storybook. But this is just a lot of fun. I have no idea what to do with these now, so I guess I'm going to list this on Spreezy if somebody wants to purchase it. It's just a thin panel, so it'll be easy to mail. But that was a lot of fun. That really was a lot of fun. Now, is that to say that if you went looking on her channel, you'd find a redheaded girl with balloons and all that stuff? Probably not. I don't think she has one of those images there. She likes to do fairies, I've noticed, which kind of inspired me for something else, but I'll let that go for now. Anyway, all I'm saying is I copied the actions that I saw in videos, multiple videos, and just applied it to the same thing here. Cut out little clouds and little shapes and made a face similar to how she makes her faces. It's not at all the same thing, so I was quite pleased when it was done because I didn't like watch the video and then do it, watch the video, then do it. I was going based on memory, and the way I remembered her making her eyes was like that. But then when I went and looked at another piece of hers, is not at all the same. So it's kind of cool because a little bit of me came out of this. Well, a lot of me came out of this when I was doing this. So I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with any of this. All I'm trying to share with you is that don't let anything stifle you from keeping on with your creativity. If you get stuck and you're staring at your stuff and you don't know what to do, turn on one of your favorite YouTubers, watch a video they've already done, watch a new video if they've uploaded one, which seems to be rare these days. Do what you can to try and get back in the mode. And if at all, all else fails, that's what I'm trying to say. Just do a piece like they do, and you'll be surprised if you actually, see Vicky. I always say her name wrong, so I know I'm going to mess it up. But she's Greek. She does an amazing job of making cards, and her art journal pages are what actually drew me to her in the first place. And she is just phenomenal with these ideas. And sometimes I see some of her stuff and I'm like, where in the world does a person come up with an idea like that? If you find an idea like that and you're like, I love this idea, do it. Yours is not going to be the same. And I know some people are going to really not be happy with me for saying that. And that some people are going to be like, you really shouldn't tell people to copy other people's work. Good luck. I mean, you're not a Xerox machine. You're really not going to do a ditto fax copy of it. Unless you're a forger and that's your job. And if that's your job, you're probably not going to be sharing it with us that you forged someone else's work. I don't know. I'm not going to go off on that tangent. I'll just shush. When all else fails, drink your coffee, Heather. Okay, so that leads me to another class. Well, I haven't even told you about any of the classes, but that piece, this piece that I made, this Tandy Art inspired piece I made, really came after I had been taking a class from Toni Burt. Her art is amazing. I just love the way she does her faces. They're usually mostly like neutral colors, black and white charcoal type drawings, and then she splashes some color here and there. A lot of times she will do things like collaging papers into her art and things like that, but it almost always looks, I don't want to say unfinished, but it's definitely not overdone. That's what I guess I'm getting at. And a lot of the work that I have done over the years, I have looked back on because, we've done this move and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that piece. And a lot of pieces I'm like, whoa, way overdone. Whoa, way too much paint. And it's okay. It's not that that's bad or anything or that I'm throwing them away. But what it is that I'm seeing the mature artist now is seeing what I was learning and what I bring with me to the next piece. So in her class, I'm like going off on all these weird rants. Anyway, in her class, she actually has, it's water plus color, and I'm going to actually put the link to this class and the other two classes that I've taken during this time period down below, because if you can afford any one of them, they're all worth taking, okay? And they're all to do with watercolor. I know, shocking. Water plus color is the name of this class, and she gives you 3 projects to do. She takes you through each one of those projects in a video in real time, without any cuts. I mean, she stops and, stops the video to say that we're going to let this dry or whatever, and then there's another video where she picks up. So you can actually stop with her and go do a load of laundry or whatever and come back, play the next video, and you should be ready to go just like she was. So I've only done 3, well, there's 3 lessons, 3 projects, I guess. 3 projects in the class, and I've only done 2 of them. And I've only got one of them to show you here because I don't know what I did with the other one. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Oh, I lied. They're both right here. Okay, so the first one I didn't do. I was not inspired to start putting pencil to the paper until we got to the second project. And then I was like, okay, maybe I have the confidence to do this. And so this is the second piece. And again, if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen these things. But this is the second project. And it's basically a fairy. You know, she shows you a reference picture. She shows you how to draw the face and what you're looking at and transferring onto the paper from your reference. She also shows you how to, you know, if you're not comfortable drawing, that there's some tricks in ways to get the image to the paper as well. And then she like demonstrates her adding flair to, this was just a normal model with no wings. And then she added the wings to give it that. And she had this in mind before we started, so she knew where to put the where to place the woman so that there would be room for the wings, etc. So she goes through all of this. Then she shows you how to add the color in the places that it needs to go, so that, and how to create the colors. So like if you don't have a flesh tone, if you need a shadow flesh tone, all these things, why you apply the darks, where you apply the darks, etc., etc. All that is in the class, and she's just really good. Plus, she's an Aussie, so you listen to her amazing voice. It's pretty cool. Anyway, bottom line is this is project number 2, and then for project number 3, she actually did a 3/4 face, and there's more to it, and it was using another product, not just a watercolor, but a water-soluble pencil. And I'll be honest with you, I was a little nervous about doing that one. So during the Craft It Together with my friends, with my patrons, I actually decided to use the techniques and everything that she taught in that class to do a face, a 3/4 face. But it's a bunny, and I haven't given him whiskers yet, or her. I don't know. Anyway, I just used the same principles that she taught and made the bunny, and yeah. It's cute. I mean, it's fun to play, right? It's fun to learn these things. I have a couple other classes. I think I'll wait to tell you about the other 2 classes, because one, I have not even done a project yet. CC's watercolor class, I have not done a project yet with it because I can't find, I can't make it work the way she's showing it on screen. So I want to make sure that I have a sample to show you before I actually tell you about the class, because it's an amazing class. She, again, more videos than you pay for, and she's very good at showing examples. And then she has a Facebook group that you can join. Actually, all these classes have a Facebook group you can join, but CC's Facebook you can join, and you'll see more of the work she's doing and some more samples of those things. So it's crazy, these classes. You take them and you feel almost like, is this going to be worth my money? And then once you take it, you realize they didn't charge enough, because there's a lot that goes into video production and, you know, hosting it on a website and being able to have video hosted on a website is very costly. I know this personally, so I'm just always impressed whenever I see it. And they didn't really charge that much for the class. So I'm rambling now. So I have one last thing I want to share with you, and then I'm going to say goodbye, because this is already way too long. This is what happens if you don't meet regularly, okay? So first thing I'm going to tell you about is vlogging. I am going to vlog on Mondays and Thursdays. Starting today is Thursday, and I will be uploading them because, you know, I don't like to edit. I'm incredibly lazy, so the only thing that I do is I change the thumbnail picture that you see before you actually click to play it. That's it. That's all I do, and that's all I'm gonna do. So hopefully I don't ever do anything or say anything that I need to cut out. Anyway, it does kind of help to, like, you know, be who you are and not try to pretend to be somebody else, because if I was trying to pretend to be somebody else, I would fall in and out of that character. Anybody remember Kiki? Anyway, okay. And let's hope that the sound worked for this, because that's been another thing. I've had major technical issues. I do not want a new computer. I do not want to buy any technical stuff until we get on the road. I was saying that for everyone else's benefit, specifically someone else's benefit, so that way I don't have to buy these things because I really don't want to buy. You understand? Okay, that's a tangent. Okay. And I lost my train of thought too. Okay, so we're going to vlog Mondays and Thursdays. And then starting in May, you are going to see a lot of stuff coming from the Kraaft Shaak. A lot. We are going to be doing Craft It Live on Tuesdays, as you can expect, because you have been used to that and you've probably been missing it for a month. Craft It Live on Tuesdays every week. We will have Watercolor Wednesdays. I am going to bring those back. I am going to do them every week. This and That Thursday. I have a couple of them already going, ready to be aired, so we should be okay on that. This and That Thursday is something that I am committed to do because of the patronage that I receive from patron supporters. Same with Watercolor Wednesdays. If it weren't for patrons, I would only do the Craft It Live show. And then if all the patrons left, I probably wouldn't be able to do that. So because of the patrons, we're able to have Craft It Live on Tuesdays, Watercolor Wednesdays, This and That Thursdays, and we're able to deal with the Kraaft Shaak 3-color challenge. There it is. The Kraaft Shaak 3-color challenge every month. And then every week I can put up a new blog post about that as well. So there's a lot of changes coming to Patreon. I've already kind of changed the reward tiers because those rewards, frankly, they just got too costly. It kills me. It absolutely pains me deep inside to not mail something to people who... You took it upon yourself to say, I believe in what you're doing, Heather. Here's some money. That makes me want to send you something. Small, tiny, little. So I reserve the right to still mail you stuff. I'm going to eventually. The thing is, I can't do a monthly package to everyone every month. And I had, starting at $5, you would get a card in the mail, which isn't really that big of a deal because I only did it for those at the $5 level. But when global stamps cost as much as I'm actually getting from the person, that's probably not good. And many of you had sent me messages and said, please stop sending me these things because they cost you too much. So because of that, I have heeded your warning, your advice, your wonderful wisdom, and I am not going to be mailing out cards anymore at the $5 level. And I know that makes some people sad because you guys have really looked forward to those things, but that doesn't mean you won't ever get one. I just may do it anyway every once in a while when I feel like it and have the time to do so. That's another thing. Time sucks the life out of me. I feel like I never have enough time to do anything, and I'm working here all day long. So to ease up on that and to have more time to do videos and to commit to actually growing an internet presence so that way we can get this show on the road, I have pulled back from the physical rewards, and I've actually added some more digital rewards, which will also add to the things that I put out onto the internet. So one of them is, and you may have seen this, I hope this isn't news to you, but this is basically a doodle sheet. I just wanted to test these little acrylic paints or inks, whatever, and I wanted to test how they worked with how watercolor pens worked, how the Neocolor 2, they're out of reach. The Neocolor 2 crayons worked in conjunction with all this stuff, and I just loved what I ended up with. So let me put it here, let it focus. I mean, this was so much fun, and it's just me doodling. I mean, I didn't even really pay attention too much to what I was making, and colored it and, went over. And I thought this would be really fun to cut out, tear out, whatever, and make more of these kinds of art thingies. And then it dawned on me, what if the patrons wanted to do that? So what I'm going to do is, and I got a new scanner. This was like gifted to me, so I'm going to utilize that puppy. And I'm going to be scanning in things like this, and they're going to go to the patrons at different levels. They'll get 1, 2, 3, or 4 however many I have going on each of those levels. I don't know if I was specific on how many you get at each level. I know it doesn't really matter. The bottom line is I have a bunch of doodles, and they're all different. They're all different, and I'm going to be utilizing those as gifts for you guys. And it's really inspired me to do a lot of things. I was up last night actually creating a whole series of, like, I have a whole sheet of feathers, just feathers, that I've drawn, and there's a whole sheet of flowers. There's a scene. There's a little, I've got some of these little doodly girls. I've got a couple different ones of those. I don't know. Anyway, I think it's going to be fun. I hope that the patrons really enjoy them. And if you're interested in being a patron, you just want to try it out just to see what the heck you get, May will be the one you want to try. Because in May, I'm making up for the fact that I've been done for a whole month and took some time off, and thank you patrons for letting me do that. It was a huge blessing to me and my family, but I'm making up for it in May. So if you have not, you've been on the fence about joining the Patreon page because you're just not sure about a monthly pledge, you're just not sure what you even get because it's not pretty clear, I understand, and you may want to give it a shot. You can go in, sign up, and you'll be charged immediately, so you don't have to wait for anything to happen. And then if you decide, like you could the next day cancel, you'll be charged that 1 month, and then you'll get to see what you get. And you can see for that whole month what you get. And then, of course, if you want to keep going, you'll have to re-sign up again. But anyway, it should be really cool for you to see what comes in May. And because of all their patronage, people who don't pay anything, which is fine, you don't have to, people who have enjoyed Craft It Live, you get to have Craft It Live, Watercolor Wednesdays, this and that Thursdays, and this vlog. So they have really provided all the free stuff that you see. That's the bottom line. So thank you. Say thanks to a patron. And yeah. And Kraaft Shaak on the Go is growing. We've had a lot of donations in the past couple of months. So we're up over $1,200 in the GoFundMe fund. And I'm working on, this is the last thing I wanted to tell you about, I am working on, the pieces that you see behind me are all for sale. I'm working on getting them up onto the Spreezy site. The pieces of, the products that I decided not to bring over here as a part of the shelf unit that you've seen in previous videos, those products are all going to be packaged and sold at bargain basement prices during a live YouTube event in May. I'm going to be doing, I'm just going to try and package up everything I possibly can. I've got stamps galore. If you're a stamp fan, you're going to want to tune in for that because you're going to get, basically you're going to get 2 stamp sets for free. That's the bottom line. I'm trying to work out a way to make it so that folks who are in not in the U.S. can also participate. The shipping is just a real nightmare. I don't know how to get around that. If you have an idea of a way to have a package listed for postage to somewhere outside of the U.S. and not know where when you start, but still be able to put a reasonable price on it, let me know. Because that's the trick. That's the trick. So basically, I just need the stuff to go, and we need a few dollars put into the Kraaft Shaak on the Go fund. And by that I mean, I really am just hoping that you'll pay the shipping part and that a few dollars will go into that fund. That's really my goal. Because if $5 go into the fund for a $50 item, I'm fine with that because at least it was $5 that we didn't have before. So I hope that makes sense. Oh, and in May, there's one last thing. I keep saying one last thing as if it's the last thing. In May, in the middle of May, I'm going to be launching a new show with Michael. It's not craft related, but it's Michael and I doing something that is really passionate to us. We're going to be talking about tech stuff, helping people with Google+. G Suite is a thing that we're going to be helping people with. YouTube, whatever is on the web that can help you in your business, that's what we're going to be doing. And it's going to be a really fun show because we're going to be talking about tech in the news. We're going to be talking about our lives. We're going to be having a good time. If you've ever seen Michael and I doing anything, then you'll know that it'll be very entertaining. So, yeah, we're very much looking forward to that. That's going to launch in the middle of May. So you'll want to stay tuned to the announcements for that on my Google Plus page, as well as taking a peek at Michael's YouTube channel and maybe subscribing to it so you get notifications when we do go live, because it's going to be on his channel. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, I have some other things that I wanted to talk about, but I think I've done enough for today. This is ridiculous. I need to like break this up into, no, I'm not going to do that. That's work. Okay, so I'm just going to say goodbye, and then the next vlog will be like not even 10 minutes long. Promises? I don't know. Don't hold me to it. I hope you've had a good time. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I look forward to seeing you more in May, and thank you very much for your patience and the blessing of taking April off. I appreciate that, you guys. I hope you have a very crafty day. Bye-bye.